What's up, guys? It's MB Boxing, and I just finished up watching Conor Benn versus Adrian Granados, and this was a 10-rounder in the welterweight division, and this fight was Saturday, September 4th, from the Emerald Headingley Stadium in Leeds, Yorkshire, England, and this fight was broadcasted on DAZN, and in this fight, Conor Benn was able to get a comfortable unanimous decision victory over Adrian Granados. I had the bout scored 99-91 in favor of Conor Benn. And to list the judges' scorecards, one judge had a 190, which I can see. I was about to score at 190, but I gave the ninth round to Adrian Granados, and the second judge had it 99-91, agreeing with me, and the third judge had it 97-93. I can't really see 3 rounds that Granados did win, but there was a couple that were fairly competitive, so I could somewhat see that score. But overall, the judges got this one right. Obviously, the right man won, and the scorecards were pretty decent, I would say. I did agree with 2 of them, 190 and 99-91, as I mentioned before. 97-93, a little generous in favor of Granados, but I could see it if you obviously are generous in his favor. But just to break down the fight, it was really just Conor Benn coming forward on Granados. Granados, I was noticing that he was lifting his arms up, like he was making it close and he was winning, but he was rarely winning any rounds. You could definitely see that on my scorecard, only 1 round in favor of Granados. But he's normally a fighter that likes to come forward or maybe even fight a mid-range. But here, he tried to fight and box on the outside, whilst Conor Benn just came forward, was landing hooks to the head. And the only other round that I was thinking of was a swing round was round 2. That's where Conor Benn actually did hurt Adrian Granados. But the first 2 minutes of the round was really just Adrian Granados actually boxing pretty well and countering Conor Benn and landing some good shots. It was arguably his best round up until he did get hurt in the last 30 seconds. That's why I did give the round to Conor Benn, because he did land a good right hand on the chin of Granados. Granados backed up in the ropes, and Benn unleashed a combination with hooks to the head, uppercuts, and straights. And as I mentioned before, really the whole fight was just Conor Benn coming forward, landing shots on the ropes with Adrian Granados on the back foot. I don't really need to explain it a bit more. That is exactly what the fight was. Every single round was the same, except the 8th and 9th. Maybe you could have given them to Granados. The 8th round was obviously more in favor of Benn towards the end, but Granados did box pretty well early, and that's normally what happened in the rounds that were close. Adrian Granados boxed well early in those rounds, and then later on, Benn was able to land some good shots. And Benn did hurt Granados a couple times, as I mentioned before, in round 2. I believe one other time in the middle rounds where he did catch Granados off guard on the ropes. And as I mentioned before, it was really just Benn getting Granados on the ropes and landing shots, whilst Granados was trying to land jabs and counter from mid-range or the outside. And what is next for Conor Benn after this victory? Winning by unanimous decision over a fighter who's known as a tough guy. He was able to neutralize him. And I think Conor Benn should have another step up. I do think he's a very, very good fighter. He's coming off 3 great wins, defeating Samuel Vargas, Granados, and Sebastian Formella. I wouldn't mind seeing him against someone at the likes of a Thomas Delorme. I know Delorme's about to fight Jaron Ennis, but someone at that level, top 20, maybe even top 15 in the welterweight division. Maybe someone like a Jamal James, because he holds this WBA Continental title, Benn does. Jamal James holds the WBA regular title, so I would not mind seeing that fight. And maybe since the WBA did take out all interim titles, he could fight in a final eliminator against maybe an Amantis Stanionis, something like that. But I do want to see him in a big fight next. But what is next for Adrian Granados? I don't think he's going to retire. He usually does lose to these type of fighters, up-and-coming prospects or established contenders, former champions, and whatnot. All his losses are tough fighters. So, yeah, he still can compete with those guys. I would say he's around the top 25 level. I wouldn't mind seeing Granados against maybe a Terrell Williams, something like that. Just so he gets more confidence to fight a guy like Benn again, an up-and-coming prospect, something like that. Maybe we could see Granados face Stanionis, because I believe Granados has fought a lot on PBC and whatnot, so I wouldn't mind seeing him against another prospect, specifically like an Amantis Stanionis. So overall, Conor Benn defeats Adrian Granados by unanimous decision, and to get the best victory of his career so far. And yeah, that's really it. I'm MB Boxing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.